you have wearables that will go on one base mesh. So like for example, if we had Hyperbot as one VRM base mesh, like base model or whatever,
Yeah.
and then people could create whatever wearables just on top of that, and then we just combine them all together somehow.
Well,
But
yeah,
that's easier than trying to do wearable cages that just like magically fit anything.
Yeah. I'm thinking that if other people are already starting to do this, then we should take that as a sign, because these guys also had like they had some type of like interview thing with OnCyber, so I'm kind of thinking at this point like they are going to support something like that. But I don't know, because we were talking about
we worked with for Anata, right? Like collabed with them for years.
Yeah,
but VRM also contains all the weights and sometimes wearables have bones in them, you know, to make like a jacket zipper or like bunny ears flap, for example. Makes all that logic.
Yeah, like from a holistic point of view, VRMs really are just GLTFs with a little bit of like a spec. There's not that much to it, but there is a few things that just kind of like go and to me feel slightly off the rails. But yeah, I think we should just build on VRM. Definitely. Ooh, and the layered VRMs thing, I think, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it.
I don't mean to like glaze, but like it's kind of, you know, like just got to give some kudos. Like in terms of Hyperfy's VRM support, it is like the gold standard. You know, it's like where I go to test VRMs, and all the ones that are like, you know, in terms of like all the extensions, because like there was no tooling that supported VRMs. Like GLTF Transform didn't really until like you made a custom extension. All the other tools, even Blender, removed unsupported extensions, but like Hyperfy, it just worked out of the box, and it also gives you instant feedback. But I didn't see it right there. If you like dragged and dropped the VRM, do you still have performance stats?
No, not non-VP.
Bro, it is
really lightwait.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say, because like there's a lot of like, I don't know, it's a work in progress still to get it.
It's
to V1.
Because this is open source and anyone can self-host. I don't want to put too many opinions on there, but like I think what we'll end up doing, depending on what people want, is just giving like, so in Hyperfy you have the whole stats system and the rating and all that kind of stuff. I think what I'd prefer like to have it so that people can just do it how they want is they just set what their minimum is and that's it. They just go, look, anyone can equip an avatar as well, but it's limited to like 16,000 triangles
it's
and
a good opinion
materials,
to have that feedback. It's like having a task manager, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I just find that like I think if we give everyone those controls anyway, people are just going to be like, I just put it on heavy mode, like anyone can put anything in. But then I think people will realize pretty quickly that they can't have you wouldn't be able to have a world like this that Sari's running around in with people equipping.
It's like, why is it laggy or blah blah blah, and it's like you're onboarding people in a way that kind of shapes, you know, for example, if they tested and they see that instant feedback, they'll, you know, it could save some questions later.
Yeah, for sure. Man, we've come so far since the last meeting, I think. And this world just really kind of like, I think is showcasing a lot of that. It's been wild.
Yo, give me a permission to pin stuff. Like you mentioned LOD in that one channel.
Oh yeah.
This world is using LOD. Like,
are you not a mod?
I don't think so.
I can make you a mod.
I kicked him. Sorry. Hold on.
Yeah. Me?
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I cleaned up the mods who just weren't like active because I made too many people mods, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, you're a mod. Yeah, we had a lot of mods. Okay, so I think for this, we want to open up and see if anyone else wants to talk about the things. There's so many things happening, and Maximus, I think, is not here for half an hour or so. He's got something he's got to do, but he left a list of like things that people in the community have been building, making, whatever. So I want to like open that up at some point. But I thought it might be worth starting off with me just trying to go over a bunch of changes to the core that's happened in the last 7 days, and then talk about the like home building thing that we've got going in the play world right now. So just to start off with, like in terms of things that have gone in the core, we've got the new build mode, which also brings with like snapping and snap points on 3D models, which I think is pretty cool, and flying in build mode, which we didn't have before. It just makes it way easier to get around the world and like find places to place things. When you're flying, you got more like agency. Speaking of agency, we added double jump, which is in non-build mode, which is pretty cool. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Just adding double jump just seems to make things feel a lot more fun to run around and jump on things. And yeah, it's very cool. And then we had M2 made a PR for VR mode, which is really freaking cool. I think the performance of that, I don't know what the difference is between that and V1, but V2 VR is like really freaking good. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that's just like, even if you've got quite a few things in the world, it seems to be running at like 120 hertz, even though you know it's not. I don't know. Maybe the Quest 3 headset has just gotten really good or something. They had an update. I don't know. But it works really well.
Yeah, they got more juice out of the GPU.
Oh, really? It's crazy. It feels like, you know, when you get the screen door effect, when you're slightly lagging and you see the sides like come in on you, like the black bars on the sides as you turn your head really fast. Yeah. That just doesn't exist anymore.
So there's like a 20% boost.
That's a lot.
A while ago. And then who knows, maybe if you upgraded 3JS, maybe there's optimizations there too.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're on the latest 3JS. So that's really cool. I think he's working on doing controllers in World. So right now we've got basic VR. Basically, it hides your avatar, and you can double jump and run around and that kind of stuff. He's then going to add controller support, so you can see your hands, or at least your controllers or something like that. It would make it a bit easier, and then we can from there we can look at interaction, because I think the new build mode is really compatible with VR, and that we should be able to do building in VR, which would be really freaking cool. And we in the core we added pinning. So pinning just means you can like lock something. It's something in V1 everyone asked for, was freezing or locking an object so you didn't accidentally move it or delete it. So we got pinning. You just, in build mode, you walk up to something and hit P and it'll pin it, and then no one can delete it or move it unless you unpin it first, which I thought was pretty cool. And during the this contest thing for building houses in the play world, I noticed a bunch of issues performance-wise, and one of them was the I don't know who it was that built the giant fence wall building, but those were pretty. Yeah. They're not super high triangle counts and textures and stuff, but just the fact that there was so many of them really was destroying the GPU. I think my GPU was running at 40 milliseconds per frame, which is 300% more than it needs to be to hit 60 FPS. So I just quickly reinstated LODs that we had from the reference repo for V2, and then I quickly optimized that fence, and I just went straight into the world, pushed that update into it, and swapped out the fence without needing to destroy the world or do anything crazy, and it just fixed it, and it was okay, we're back at 60 FPS. And so that leads me on to just talking about that. So a couple of reasons, I just randomly decided to throw out that contest for building a house because the Odd City and Syntiki guys, they made this really cool kit in V1, and I wanted that to be in V2 so that we could kind of just building blocks, build a house without needing to kind of open up the script editor without needing to open up Blender. Just anyone can just come in and build a house for free, like without even needing to leave the world and do anything else. Which I thought was pretty cool because I don't know, it's something we didn't really have in V1. Everyone kind of had to understand what a 3D model was and how to get one in the world. But if you kind of have like this little junkyard of blocks that you can just go to and grab and go and build a house over on the other side of the world, then that's pretty cool. There was a few reasons why I wanted to do that. One was just to kind of like get some more content that showed what you could do without needing to be a 3D artist or a coder. The other one was to test performance. So we've got build mode now, and we've got now we have LODs, and we've got this like crazy performance that allows you to have hundreds of the same thing in a world for almost everything's GPU instanced automatically. And so I just kind of I wanted to like stress test that. And it's kind of crazy. I think it's pretty successful. Like right now that world has, I don't know, half a dozen, maybe a dozen houses. And each one of those houses is made up of like hundreds of blocks. I think overall the world has like 10 to 20,000 apps all in it, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's going really well. And to be honest, most of those blocks aren't even like super optimized. Like the couches and all that kind of stuff have like 3-4 materials on them. The colliders aren't even like low poly, they're just the full mesh of the couch, for example.
I have a question. You mentioned manually doing LODs. Does this mean you also have an automated way of doing LODs?
Not yet. You still have to do it in so there's a couple ways you can do LODs right now. One is I think Howie is going to add it to the Blender plugin, so you can basically just one click to get LODs. But other than that, you can just manually set them up in Blender using custom properties.
Right. But what if there is something, maybe it's client side, but you could just click a button and it generates them in the world?
Yeah, I think we need something like that, but maybe not maybe that's just part of an asset pipeline where you just go, okay, I've made this thing. Can you create automatically decimated versions that will work and figure out the correct distances that they should pop into? And then, you just throw it to GLB and go, can you lodify this? And it lodifies it for you.
Yeah. I've kind of like spoke about this, kind of like this flips the virtual world model from kind of like tossing a salad bowl to like having a cast iron skillet, where you can just lay down these ingredients and they start cooking.
Yeah.
That just removes a lot of friction.
Yeah, so you just go to place it down and it's instantly it's high poly for now, but in the background it's slowly like creating this LOD version.
Well, you can always choose, it's like kind of turning on the stove, you can choose when to turn on the flame.
That sounds similar to me then to like have voxels, you place down unbaked stuff, but then at some point you just like, can you bake this? And it goes and creates this like light map and all that kind of stuff in the background, and then when it's ready it will just pop in.
Yeah, exactly. It may be there's something in the inspector that tells you if an asset has those versions or not, just to kind of identify. Maybe you kind of selectively choose, or maybe you select all by default, but just kind of lets you know, like in case you put down more assets later to distinguish if you have troubleshooting, like, why is my FPS low? Oh, I forgot to bake, new LODs or something.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, LODs are really cool. I think they've made it. If we didn't have LODs, this world probably wouldn't be running it. anywhere
I
near what
love
it
this
has.
topic, so I'm just
Yeah,
speaking about it because LODs and just optimization performance, instant
one of
gratification. It's like more
yeah, for
FPS
sure.
number go up, like boom.
I made it so that you can set the LOD so that at a certain distance the whole thing just completely disappears as well. And also LODs work on things that aren't meshes. So if you had like physics like colliders and stuff, or UI pieces, or almost anything, you can just put in a LOD. What's it called? Like a LOD. What's one individual LOD thing called? I don't know. But you can put anything in there, and so it'll just completely disappear and like
Nope.
won't take up any performance, which is pretty cool. I think for colliders that would be useful as well. If you have a
Debug
lot
mode.
of like debug mode, what's that?
Maybe like a form of wireframe mode or kind of viewing collision or
Oh yeah, showing colliders would be good. Just yeah, I agree. Having a toggle to just see where the collision is, or at least like how high poly or something it is, and whatever. Like we're missing a few things. One of the things that I think we really need next is just the ability to see a list of all the things in the world, and like search for things, find things that maybe fell off the side of the earth that still exist, that have fallen like 10,000 kilometers under the ground. But also sort by performance stats like triangles and script usage and stuff like that, just to help you find the things that might be bringing your world down. So like, I came in here last night and I realized that like FPS had dropped a little bit more than I suspected, because like it looked pretty much the same. Nothing much had changed, other than a few more buildings and stuff, like basic buildings. But for some reason, the FPS had tanked so much, and it turned out it was just like one model. Like someone had just dropped in a model that had so many triangles and like a billion materials on it or something. And I just deleted that, and it went from like 40 FPS back up to 60. It's just crazy because there's like in this world, there's like literally hundreds of like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, maybe close to 100,000 like things all individually placed, but there's just one that's just like absolutely wrecking the world, which is funny. But I think just being able to find that, you need something to be able to like find the thing that is wrecking it.
yeah, it sounds like y'all just need kind of some of the basic UI and tooling for that
Yeah,
again.
for sure. Yeah. Okay, I think if we want to, we can open it up. I got a list of things, but anyone's welcome to chat about what they're building, or just their experience in using Hyperfy, any blockers that are stopping them from doing certain things, anything like that. If anyone wants to chat, just raise your hand. Otherwise, I've got a list of things I can call people out as well for some of the notable things that we've seen in the last week.
I'm curious what's the fastest way to get blockchain back in here, because I feel like that's the number one thing people want from me. It's like,
yeah, so you've got your
with...
Solana, EVM thing that you're working on.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know what you had in mind originally when you built this. If it was going to be like everything blockchain is external, or because what I'm making right now seems like it's probably just going to be for us, and I don't know, and everyone will have to like fork something similar or something. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
Yeah, the thing that you're building right now is not world based, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah,
but then you also
eventually.
have that Solana branch, which is basically just like a one hit merge into the world repo to give that Solana like.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It's not it. everyone who I've showed it to has had a hard time like making it work because there's been so many changes, and I need to like keep up with it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there are some like EVM branches too, but I just feel like people are gonna keep redoing the same thing or something. So.
Yeah, well, I think we really just need like a good branch for Solana and a good branch for EVM, and we can keep them updated. And like we're happy to do that as like an official thing as well. But yeah, it just depends. We're like so open. Like right now, it's just like here's a world building engine. It's a meta MMO game engine. And it's not tied to anything, which is kind of cool, but kind of not at the same time. I like the fact that we can just like cater to every chain and every Web2, like anything at the drop of a hat. But also, there's a lot of things that being connected to crypto can benefit from, and one of those is like having NFTs that you can just like pull up and drop into the world, including avatars. And the other one is like being able to have in-world transactions or like, payments for entering VIP areas and like doing that kind of stuff. It's just so much easier to use crypto for that than it is to integrate Stripe and like have to worry about.
Did you see what PZ posted in Showcase?
No, what was that?
He posted it like 6 minutes after we started the meeting, but it's interesting. It says, so I'm working on a little proof of concept for people to be able to share core changes easily. HooCow stands for Hyperfy User Core Overrides. Right now, if you do an npx HooCow at the root of the Hyperfy repo, it will install itself and create a new branch where you can apply patches using the HooCow command. If you do HooCow search, it will list all available patches and you can apply with a HooCow patch. So basically what he's talking about is if someone wants like crypto integration, but we don't want to put it in the core, then this is probably the fastest way to do it or something like that. Or a fast
That's
way.
awesome. Is a patch basically a stash, like in Git terms? Sounds like it.
Should we invite him up? Or
Yeah.
I invited him. I don't know if he has his mic though. Hey, hold on. He raised his hand, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I suck at this.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's probably a better way to do it rather than just having branches that you have to do. I don't know if you're there, PZ, but you're muted right now.
Anyways, either way, whether he talks or not, I feel like something like this would make it easier for me to talk to someone who has some blockchain or something and be like, yeah, we support you. And not tell them go fork it and change to this branch or whatever. It's like feels more kind of proper.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of having the HooCow thing, but maybe we just have like a freaking like a Hyperfy CLI that's literally how you install it. You don't even need to git clone. You just do npx Hyperfy create, and then you go npx Hyperfy add Solana. You know what I mean? So it just kind of like removes all of the needing to know about the rest. You go npx Hyperfy list, and it tells you all the things that you can extend your world with. But I think the patch idea, or like using stashes or patches, is probably a better way than trying to ask people to freaking merge their, like, first they'd have to fork it, then they'd have to clone it, then they'd have to merge random branches together that might have some issues. But yeah.
Yeah, seems like a good idea. I suppose what most people want, though, at the end of the day, will just be like one platform to go and log in with Solana and like just not have to think about anything.
Yeah. And we want to do that just because you don't have to. Yeah, we don't want people to think about that, especially like we're talking about coder stuff, but we're just talking about it from a foundational point of view. It doesn't mean we can't layer things on top of that and create. Not everyone can code. Not everyone wants to use CLI to build their worlds. I just think, yeah, for the most part, I think thinking from foundational point of view like makes it more composable rather than going straight to the end product, which was basically what V1 did. Proprietary code base. Can't really do anything. It is what it is. Use it or don't. Whereas V2 is kind of like the complete opposite.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just update what I've been doing because it's stuff that you guys don't see really. But since like the second day after launch or something, I had like hired someone to help us with like basically a Pump Fun clone. There's not a very nice open source culture on Solana, so nobody shares these types of things. So it's kind of like a big deal to get your hands on one. And that's all done, and the tests are done, and now there's someone working on integrating that into React so that we could bring it into our platform or whatever. And I've also been working on like Solana and Ethereum authentication, so you sign in with either ETH or Sol, and then through scripts you should be able to check like, is this user connected to Ethereum, and then do that. If they're connected to Solana, let them use the Solana stuff, and that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah.
True multi-chain. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, I guess one cool thing is like it's not just like Pump Fun it's not just like a launch pad for Hyperfy worlds. We could use it for assets, pretty much anything that people want to exchange with each other. This program will be able to manage that, give you a market for it, and if your thing, whatever you make, gets big enough, then it can be migrated to a proper liquidity pool, like on Radium or something. So, yeah, I think it'll just depend whether people want a token or NFT. Basically, this would be the token route, and there's a few things in there that, like everything right now, when you buy it, like when you go on Pump Fun, you use Sol to buy the token, and then Sol goes in the bonding curve, and then it gets migrated later. But this is all Hyper, so yeah, you transact with Hyper, and then
if you talk about doing like an app or something on a bonding curve as a token, is that a fractional thing? Like,
yeah, on whoever has like the front end would have to be like, if they hold like more than 1.0, then they own one thing, but it's still fractional. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it also means like if there's something like low supply that's expensive, you can own like 0.05 of it if you think that you want to like speculate on its value or something. You don't need to have the whole thing.
Damn. And so you're saying that it can be, you can choose either. You can be like, I just want this to be like an NFT, or I just want this to be an actual fungible token.
Yeah, well, the NFT, I've been working on that stuff too. And those are pretty easy because NFTs on Solana are basically like super standardized through like JavaScript APIs. So like if people wanted to avoid the bonding curve and just do NFTs, that should be practical too. You know, but it would effectively work the same if you're just checking to make sure they have one token, one whole token.
Yeah. Ralston, the name of the server that I recommended, $2 a month-ish. It was it was DigitalOcean. I don't think it was $2 a month. I think it's like $5 a month for 2 GB. Which is good if you have like super optimized assets. I think the Playworld right now is sitting on a 4 GB server, which costs about $8 or $10 a month. I think. I can't remember. I know it's a 4 GB server either way. The only reason it's on that is just like high memory usage from having so many freaking objects in the world at once. Yeah, Metaplex Candy Machine. That's like the only standard on Solana, right? I don't think I've seen any others that anyone supports anywhere. It's Metaplex all the way down.
Yeah, Amka asked if what if NFTs on Solana support GLB, but it's actually the biggest difference with EVM is that both NFTs and tokens support metadata with custom like properties. It's not like super hard coded where you need to like use animation URL. Like you can just like throw in any type of arbitrary file you want to either the token or the NFT, and then you can pull that however you'd want. I don't even know if we'd really need to like go the metadata route. I don't know. I mean, it's good for interoperability, but it's not 100% necessary.
Yeah. Hey, Bogey, do you want to show off the fridge that you made and how you made it? There you go.
Yo,
Hey,
what's up?
you've
All
been
right,
building some apps?
I have, yes. It's been a collaborative effort though, like myself, Amka, and another friend, Akuma, who's like I don't know, a little backstory. So Tilly's have like a GTA server, and you know we've all been tinkering in there. And one of us decided I'm gonna take a fridge out. So we got this fridge, and I was like, cool. This could be broken down into a nice little I could add some snap points, all this stuff. Let me just get my screen on. Let me one sec. But yeah, basically, I realized like, man, this could be like compartmentalized quite nicely, and it could turn into a pretty cool app. So that's what I did last night. And well, it wasn't actually last night; it was like yesterday. And that's what we have here. The Hyperfy. It's still like work in progress. Been thinking about it a bit more today. Like instead of like having a bunch of placeholder cans, just having a crap ton of snap points, and then let the user or the player fill up the fridge, or agent or whatever fill up the fridge. But yeah, essentially, let me just turn off the collab. So I've got two collections in Blender: one for the fridge, one for the drinks. Just focus on the fridge for now. Let me just do it some justice as well. There we go. Ooh. Oh, I've got to do that. Something's quite interesting. Weird. Wasn't doing that earlier.
You gotta show me how to do the like transmission blur thing on the glass, because it looks
Oh, I could show you that right now. Absolutely. So the glass, right? That material is basically that the material? No, it's not. So many materials. Glass. Right. So in Blender 4.2-ish plus, they changed EV a little bit. EV got changed. So when you want to do transmission, you have to obviously turn your roughness down, turn transmission up, but then the actual output has this thickness that is default.
Oh.
It works, but every YouTube video I've seen, they said just give it a value, and then just plug that in, and then it works really well. But I have noticed like. Yeah, this right here, this. Yeah. And you can you can add it quite easily from the sidebar as well. Like if you just go to the where is it? Thickness, you just click on this, and value is right there. And then you just give it value. But I have noticed, I'll go in world now actually. I have noticed where is everything? Oh, yeah, I was putting some planets up there. Also, thank you for telling me about pin. I didn't realize that earlier. That was I made the mistake of doing
It
something.
was
I lost
totally
my train of thought.
necessary. So we put all
Yeah.
we put the so like the play world right now was just like total honesty for people to not just absolutely wreck the world. And so like every couple hours I'm making backups because I'm waiting for that one guy to come and just wreck it, and I'm gonna be so mad. But
Oh, man.
anyway, we put like all the building blocks that odds and that made out in like one straight line, and I'm like, someone's just gonna come up and take the toilet and go put it in their house, but then no one else is gonna know that there's a toilet there. So I'm like, we'll just quickly add pinning so that now no one like can easily accidentally take it. I mean, they can intentionally take it if they want to, but that wouldn't be very nice.
But yeah, I'm really glad the transmissions work. But I have noticed, I don't know if it's
yeah.
a bug or like you see like the alpha. If something has alpha, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But what's
That's
really cool
interesting.
though, emissions can shine through. So there's a couple bottles down here, and when I close the fridge door, you can kind of see they kind of like lit up a bit more. So that was a little happy accident. But yeah, then
it's really cool. So you can just basically make like this one thing. I think it's got spatial audio on it as well. I placed like 10 next to each other, and I sounded like I was in someone's like I was in 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that was what I was going for. I was like, okay, wait. Even the door, man, like
fully interactive, and you can just kind of like go take it and put it in your world. You don't have to think about it really. That's so cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then I had to get the spinning logo, obviously. Probably do some more. I might do a vending machine next. Who knows? Like, ideally, like what I'm trying to do is like slowly build up like a convenience store. Like a 7-Eleven or something.
A vending machine with fixed supply NFTs.
Yes, but with a way to change out the smart contract.
Yeah, and you physically see how much stock is in there. And once it's gone,
crazy.
It's gone. You wouldn't be able to have a 10K collection. You wouldn't be able to see them all.
I mean, unless you duplicate the vending machine.
True. That would be really cool to see, like a vending machine that was completely synced. So you could have the same vending machine in like 10 other worlds, but as people like mint things from them, they update in all of them. And so if it's empty in one, it's empty in all of them, and it's all just kind of like synchronized.
That'd be crazy. The possibilities are endless. Like it's like each day, a new crazy idea comes from the ether. And you're like, okay. Start thinking about. I'll come back to that later. What was I doing again? That's literally just life now.
A world to a ping system.
Ooh.
Dr. Doge. All right, Limbo wants to speak.
Sweet, thank you very much. Ooh.
Oh, good. Thanks for sharing.
No worries.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Just had a question about kind of where Hyperball's headed. I'm just curious, like what the multiplayer capacity is kind of like.
Yeah, we really like skipped that, didn't we? Yeah, so Hyperball is kind of like it's in a working state. The physics are kind of weird, but it is playable. And to be honest, we haven't even really got like a group of people together and just do a play test to see how weird maybe it's acceptable or not. There's kind of like some rubber banding with the physics. So like when you go to hit the ball and somebody else comes and hits it, there's like a little bit of a weird thing where it jumps across. But for the most part, it's fine. The Vox did the level design, I think mostly, which I think is really cool. And I added all of the logic for the game loop. So setting teams, countdowns, keeping track of score, and then the finisher like part where it like dims all the lights so that the winning team gets like a moment of glory because they're the only people glowing in their team's color. But I think there's a lot of like little things that could enhance it. We don't really necessarily need them, but I think that if we were to go to like make it like an official thing, I think it needs that to feel more fun. I might be overthinking it, but that's my thoughts.
Is that
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be kind of like Hyperfy's like flagship game or?
Yeah, that was the original intention. Like, I don't really know. I'm just kind of playing it by ear, to be honest. Personally, I'm kind of like weirded about the physics, but maybe it's not as noticeable. I think it's noticeable. But yeah, we just need to like, it needs sound effects, and I think we need to get a group of people in and just kind of like play it. So,
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean, if it does it have to, like, could we get like I know because M2 added the WebXR stuff. Like, could we get like is WebXR working in there?
that's funny. I didn't even think about that. You could actually play in VR, as far as I'm aware.
Okay,
we
because then
play right now and test it out.
Could do, yeah. Oh, like right now? Yeah.
Yeah. This is old. The agents branch or whatever this is. Yes. Old controls.
I can one hit that. Watch me.
Okay.
Let's just
because
hope that,
the reason why I ask is like we could probably just start bringing like users in, right? Just send users to Hyperfy apps that are kind of somewhat built out and like have something functional working, and start growing the community like that. Maybe like the more people that that like see an app that they played and that they like, maybe they'll want to build more. And if there's just like a landing page that people can go to from within the game, you'd be like, oh, do you want to build something like this? I'm just kind of spitballing.
yeah, nah, I think that makes sense. All right, so yeah, if you guys want to, you can jump into agents.hyperfy.xyz, and I think it's set up properly. I need to double check. I think it's set up right. So there's still the debug blocks in there. Once you're in, you click the white box to get up to the lobby. And then, is anyone streaming this? Sorry, is yeah. So once everyone's up here, we can pick some teams.
Are you not joining?
I was just, yeah, we can join.
Not too late.
That's alright, I can just watch from up here.
Yeah, look at that. You see that? Who am I playing with? I think it's just something happens when it gets stolen. See that? It just snaps back.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one point where we got it kind of perfect. Is this all rewritten to be completely simulated on the servers with the player and everything?
Yes, but it still has some kind of like thing where you take over the ball. It's not entirely it can't be entirely server-sided because there's two on teams. Yeah. It can't be completely server-side because otherwise you would just walk through the ball. Ball.
Ball's going crazy.
We got both. Nah.
There's no actually scorekeeping right now, right? Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I realize it. Okay.
Yep. Blue's smashing it.
What just
the games
happened?
could probably be longer. It timed out. Blue team won.
Yeah, Vox needs to fix that glass ceiling. I think the ball got through it.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably just normals on the mesh or something like that.
I guess it's fine.
Yeah, there's some kind of like weird. It feels like magnetism or something like that when you touch the ball.
Yeah.
It definitely needs something. I feel like all the fundamental pieces are there. It just needs polish. The physics was annoying, but I also think we need like power ups or something. Like if I run over a block that gives me double speed or something like that. Damn, red team's getting their ass whipped. If you're stuck outside, walk up to the white box on the ground and click it. Like point the middle of your screen at it and click. Ah man, why did I hit it over to blue side? I'll post a link. It's in the agents world. Sorry, you said that at one point it was working perfectly, but I found out that the balls weren't actually syncing then. So like it looked like the ball for you was looking perfect because you were pushing the ball, but on my screen it was on the other side of the field. Like it wasn't even following you.
Gotcha.
And it was a like super big bug.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think it's all pretty good except for that snapping thing.
Yeah.
Just feels like someone's like behind me a few feet and then somehow uses the force to get the ball. Alright. It's almost there.
Yeah, I think it's all that. We need power-ups. I think there needs to be more things you can do during the game loop, right? Like, it's one thing to just have everybody chasing the ball, but maybe there's other things you could do to, like, prep your side or get power-ups, that kind of stuff. Because otherwise everyone's literally just, like, you're going to have, 4 people on both sides, all 4 people just running after the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Hydration buff, yeah.
I think that it needs crypto or else that'd be a fumble.
Yeah, I want to bet people games. Like,
I asked
put $50 on red team.
I told Nar that I would pay him $3,000 to build a Cambria dual type contract, but on Solana with Rust. And he's down, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to handle on the server, and we're not really in a spot for that. And I don't know, it's risky.
There's
to
also
be
the blurred
doing.
lines of doing gambling. Like you have to have strategy involved. It can't just be random chance, which is fine.
Yeah,
but but betting on games.
It's a skill-based game. Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to be like, I would put $50 on red team if they win, whatever, and those odds.
Yeah.
But you could be like, I'll bet $50 that my team will win, and then you can actually affect that change.
What if it's like instead of you running around, could you do like remote control cars that you're just controlling from the top? And
so we had a
just,
drone, right? Oh, what if we made like remote control cars? It'd be Rocket League, literally.
Yeah, but like you're in the world with the cars, I guess.
That's true. That would be gold. Hyper League.
That would be pretty sick. Especially with the top down. Yo, thanks for letting me up. No, I was just kind of wanting to touch on with the power ups thing, like that. That was we kind of talked about it a little bit last night with Bogey and stuff in the chat there. I don't think it might be far off from being able to actually have something along those lines. In the form of, y'all probably seen the little rover bot, MetaMic, PZ, so just kind of like it's putting it together, playing around with that. But essentially now, it'd probably just be a matter of getting it to maybe particle effects, if that makes sense, right? Having the extra ability. They had the other day at Captain Hook, if y'all may have known him, he was kind of working on a little script to put on a racetrack. So when you actually touch that collider, essentially it would like speed you up, give you like a little extra speed when you would sprint. Stuff like that. But I think that there definitely probably just really a matter now of, is particle effects something that is supported by the platform at the moment, or is that something that would have to be like coded in essentially onto an app?
So one of the benefits of building V1 is that we have all the code for it. And so in V1 we had the Particles app, which was almost a direct port of Unity's particle system, kind of reframed for JavaScript to work on the web. And like I had a look at everything that Roblox and other platforms were doing with particles. And Unity is the one I kind of just landed on. I think it made more sense than any of the others. So yeah, we have that, and I built it, and it's in the reference repo, and we just need to bring it over to V2, create an API, and let apps touch that stuff, which I think we have everything we need for it now. One of the reasons I didn't pull it over initially is because we needed the ability to set the particle image, but we have custom props for apps, so you can just upload an image and then use that as your texture for the particles.
I didn't think about that the other day, because I know I was even with just like the audio reactivity stuff, just trying to get some of the speakers or just items, or like for instance with the vending machine, the bogey, just having like a simple flicker effect and stuff like that. But I was running into the issue of it wasn't defining what did you want this on, so I had to pretty much just play around, added something to tell it in there, and it's
we definitely need particles. Particles are like, they're like a fundamental. You have to have them to make things look really fun and interesting. Like, I don't know.
Especially with interactions.
Like, well, the basic particles that we had in V1 was cool, but I want to see like particles that are interactive. Like when you're driving, you should see like dust flying up and stuff.
Yes.
Which would have been hard in V1, but I think with V2 it'll be easy.
Especially now, it's like, kind of like with the vending machine, the whole store thing, that y'all have been in there. You mentioned earlier about like the optimizing it. You were right last time with just texture stuff like that. How much of a world of a difference that makes in the the way it runs everything. Pretty much going through and just re-optimized everything that was in there, and it running pretty good there. Essentially, there was with these apps, with the interactables, I guess it's picking up, in a sense, the little rover. I've got it now to where you can add animations for like walking, put the other avatar stuff like this, different little sub menus, but the ability to essentially, like you were saying, stocking. Maybe you're stocking open the fridge, or anything else, picking up burgers and stuff, and it kind of going back to the ping system. Imagine having that when it's interactables, to where you open it up, somebody the steam comes out, or your bot goes through and picks up something, and it's like little golden sparks or whatever. So I think it's slowly but surely it's all coming to life. Little stuff like that adds a big difference to the worlds.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
With Avatar, Omka said, with Avatar Farmish can change your avatar appearance based on power-ups. Yeah, we don't have the ability to swap your avatar, but I think it's probably easy to do. If you've got multiple avatars in a world, swapping them is easy. You just need to kind of like have some kind of API for it. If I can upload any texture to any item, I'll lose my shit. So we kind of we have the groundwork for that. You can, we've got the emissive, like the bloom intensity that you can adjust on materials of any mesh. We just need to kind of add a new property to the material that lets you swap the texture image. Should be doable. Quadruple jump. What?
Nice.
Hit the ball.
No, definitely it's good seeing how quick everything's coming together. Like you said, just from last week to this week, and just how many different people, everybody's working on different things, and it's kind of all coming together, brainstorming, putting everything, and I don't know, it's been blowing my mind. Seeing how, drop one thing and then the next day later it's completely different. Just
It's fun having these meetings because I get forced to think about what we've done in the last week, and then when I look back, I'm like, damn, we came pretty far in a week. There's like people building all sorts of things, so many things happening, and the engine, like the core, is just like leap bounding forward. Just chaos, but very cool. So is Metamike here? He's been doing lots of cool AI stuff. You have as well, Dr. Doge, haven't you?
Yes, we've kind of worked on a little bit of that there. You remember the original one he had dropped way back a little bit back for the developers chat with essentially the items just kind of interacting. The simple like the miner, the refining, just going back and forth, and essentially got to playing around with that and made the first essential like the Collectron. Basically, it was just a simulated version of. It goes to around the map just searching for stuff, and then it'll scan across the screen saying, oh, I found this item, whatever, loot table. Metamike and Peasy then has taken that and took it to the next step, which essentially made the full-on like app-to-app interactions. I can put my screen up here and I can kind of show you different versions here, where then it would actually go about roving out and you have your health, your loot, or for those examples, and it goes out and searches for those, picks them up, adds it to its essentially I think it adds it, the way I'm looking at it, to its hierarchy, right? The items. Here, let me get my screen up real quick and I'll show y'all here. Let me see. And essentially, so what I've been going through the last couple of days, shout out Howie, because y'all know this, I'd fuck all about coding, any of that technical stuff, but he showed me how to use Cursor, and that was pretty much probably a bad idea, because I've just been,
it's kind of insane seeing like all the things people are building that, and half of them aren't even devs. They're just somehow making. I'm getting echo. It's really weird. But
let me see here. Oh, that might be, what is that? That might be on my side. Here, I can take the sound down. Let me see. I might have to just mute my side. That's weird. I'm getting one too. Where we go? Where's my hypers loot?
Onka, it doesn't need the man. It doesn't need the GLB. It only does that because it uses the name of the GLB that you dropped in.
I only hear you. I'm getting echo now too. But my little user is the only one that's lighting up.
I might have to pop down and come back in. Let me see.
Did that fix it? Yeah, that fixed it.
All right, there we go. What about now? Yeah, I should be able to.
Testing.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect. All right, so from the original rover bot that Mike and Peasy put together there and was working on that, I've gone through and just taken it and added the ability to essentially add emotes. So it has more of a, walking style, whatever. You could have it where it cheers if you pick stuff up. Let me see here. Oh, never mind. There we go. There she goes. And now she'll just walk around. Kind of kept it there, gave it that Fallout feel, which is all, you could change that up. But essentially, now what it was getting down to is how do we get that, essentially working on making it to where it picks it up, an item, or for this matter, you could have it maybe say you want it to stock the shelves on here, or like I mentioned earlier with like a ping system. Let's say you have something and you just order an app from somewhere, right? Somebody else's world, whatever. And then you kind of automatically have that agent pop in to your world, right? To complete that task. Or, kind of in that sense. Back in the days, I think Jen had a film bot, kind of like for Neos, that you could summon essentially, help it with like filming, doing all kind of stuff recording wise. And I think that would be kind of a cool little system here in this sense, but more so for this. And there's no agent essentially tied to it at the moment. This is just there, but that was kind of the next step, seeing how to get the actual agent popped into it and just kind of combine the two. So that way then you could more interactability. Maybe you could actually then tell it what you want it to do, you know, have it go somewhere else. But yeah, it's been a wild few days, man.
I don't know how you guys have been doing movement around. I'm assuming that it's all just locked to the
constant, yeah, like it's bound.
So it can't go up and down.
I don't think I've been seeing it going up and down. I think it is right now, maybe just locked to that. I tried earlier to kind of get it to mesh with the terrain or colliders, you know, to do it, because at the moment you can see if it hits a hill or something, she just kind of walks, you know, right through it. But yeah,
so I'm currently working on the apps list to help you like do world settings and see the things in your world. But one of the things I should really add, if I get a chance, it shouldn't be too hard. It's halfway like done. Is the controller, like a capsule controller that you can, that way it can navigate the actual terrain. It won't be smart enough to have like nav meshes where it knows how to walk around an object to get something. It'll still try to walk directly to it and maybe slide against the walls and stuff. But at least then it will be able to, you know, for example, walk up this hill that you've got here and come back down rather than go through the floor.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane, because I mean, yeah, at this point now, especially with different ones, there's no telling who's got what kind of terrain in their worlds and stuff. Just being able to actually navigate through that.
I'll add that. I'll maybe even add that today, and then the first thing you guys have to do is make a pet so that Sync shuts up and stops saying when pets.
Yes. Oh man. That tied in with this. This is also just a little something I was working on real quick before I forget about it. The night and day cycles like this. The solar panel. That right there, I was loving that. I just had an issue with pretty much the AM to PM. I've been trying to get it to essentially automate real time. So now I've got it here where I can go into real time, and now it's matching mine 6:05. So it's more of like that, but then it's a more 24-hour kind of slider. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get it to where when you hop in the world, it automatically starts like a 24-hour simulated, you know, time cycle going through. Like over the course of, you know, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, anything like that. But yeah, just to give it that extra little kind of vibes.
I think if you ask Claude about azimuth and, well, I forget what the other one is, you can get the because the sun doesn't go in one direction, it kind of goes off in like an angle slightly. It'll probably look a little bit more natural as well. Zenith and azimuth or something like that. Yeah, I had that in a random project that I did with day-night cycles. It's a voxel based game. So yeah, that's really cool. I think being able to set it to be like, you know, 20-hour, like 20-minute day cycles. One of the
set things off a lot.
Changing the you could change the background easily, but changing the like HDRI is
to match that.
Hyperbole jets.
Soon, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if anything's almost possible, I'm starting to see that now. It's just a matter of how bad do you want it to be possible? Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I've been blown away. So, yeah. I hadn't really been in a creative mode like that lately until here a few weeks back, and this has really been bringing me back into that mode. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Big props to y'all.
Just a couple of shout-outs. Omka is a new mod. He's been working on documentation initiatives. I think, I'm not fully across this, but I think if you want to speak about what you're doing, put your hand up. Cheddar, if you're up for a chat, I'm just reading off a list here. Perspectives, I think non-technical creators waiting for tool to catch up. Yeah. If anyone is a non-3D artist or like non-coder and has any feedback about the current state of the engine, and you've played around with like the free build world, that'd be cool. Yeah, Null too, if you want to chat. And Agent 12, I think I saw you the other day building a house or something. Metamike, who I don't think is here. and Mike Broco, if you're here as well, if you want to talk about anything related to agents, I think. Basically it on the list. Yeah, if anyone wants to chat, shout out, start talking, whatever. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing my best to compile like all the information that is kind of scattered around a little bit, or has been, and take like the repos from the docs and all the handy links that people are posting and everything like that, and created this Astro site. So this is kind of like a docs meets awesome Hyperfy. So not only does it have like docs for how to do V2 stuff, it also has a bunch of links on like handy tools for 3D design, avatar resources, stuff like that. So I've been breaking it, kind of brings you straight to the quick start. Been trying to like add key things when people ask like, hey, I'm not on the right node version, all that stuff. Make sure it links to the repo so you can start it, all that stuff. Kind of guide people along so everything is like linked directly to a page within here. So it kind of breaks up into sections like this right now. It'll drop you right in quick start, and then within welcome we have like Hyperfy colors, hyper token.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, hyper ball stuff, and then I've got like key tweets that people are posting embedded in here. It's taking a quick second to load. So like any of the cool ones that people post have been thrown in here. There's YouTube, so I've been putting like community calls in here. Then there's like community assets, so a couple of the key ones have been thrown around. So there's a viewer in here, you can view it. This will bring you to the download for it. Yeah, and then
really
like
cool.
projects.
Is this a GitHub repo, like an open source?
Yeah, so
repo?
if anyone wants to add to it, I added this edit page. So you just click on the bottom of any page and it'll bring you directly to the markdown. And all this is Astro, so every page is just markdown. It's pretty easy. So if anyone wants to add to it, please do. And there's also like a intro here for how to contribute directly. But the easiest way is just click edit page. There's kind of some guides on like if you needed to add a page that's not here, what to do. Astro it's a little bit different than some other things, so it takes a second to see the structure and stuff, but it's pretty straightforward. Everything's just markdown and MDX files. Yeah, and so then I did like starting to add like more, segmented it up and add more sections on specific things that people need. So I've been taking things from the HackMD as well and copying it in here. So like this is from PZ. I think Ash has one in here too about DigitalOcean. Then like hosting by Hyperworlds and HP. Then I took all the docs that are in the repo right now and split them up here too, that Devil's Advocate, Souri, and Ash have been working on. So this will bring you to like all the ref there's like an overall ref index that'll bring you to all the different individual information on it too, the markdown files. So I've been trying to keep up to date. This is up to date based on a week ago, what was pushed to the main repo. But I'll do my best to keep up to date as things keep moving fast. And then there's things like guides, optimizing assets. So I'm going to work with SCO and Doge on adding to this a little bit too, on how to, a couple of handy tools like he's been using for the restaurants and stuff in Tatted Alien on optimizing assets before you drop them in the world and stuff. This one is just like copied from the markdown that was already there. So I'm moving everything from the community book over here, and then any links people are like pinning or sharing in channels. So like in like 3D design, there's Meshi and all these hyper tools and such like that.
You got
Then
Poly Pizza in there. Poly Pizza is a really good
yeah,
like
Poly
3D
Pizza.
model.
Poly Pizza's right here.
Awesome.
They didn't have it set up to have a good link share, but Poly Pizza's here, and then yeah, and that's more or less it. And then so I kind of have it rabbit holing to different things. So from the installation page, it'll also bounce you here and say like, hey, here's how you set up cursors, so you're not npm installing some random JavaScript thing, but you actually go here and download it. And then some tips that like, hey, GitHub Copilot right now is offering Sonnet and O3 models up to 2,000 completions free for any account. So like take advantage of that first, and then move on to other things if you're paying. That's basically it. So if anyone wants to add, either like just tag me and I'll add it for you, or like I said, just click edit page here. There's a bunch of articles that Maximus especially has been dropping all throughout Discord. So I've been kind of like scraping Discord manually and taking any cool things and adding it all here. The real cool thing about this is that the search on it is like really, really good. So if you just want to find anything, you can just look in here. Yeah, so that's part of why I'm putting it all in here, because it just makes it really easy to find what you're looking for. Yeah, so it's kind of, and then this is all the socials for Hyperfy, Farcaster, YouTube, etc.
That's cool. So is this replacing? I think I'm like half. I got my foot half in this. There was a previous docs thing? Is this replacing what we had before, Sari? Did you set that other one up?
Yeah. I basically did. I basically just like made a DocuSource thing and moved over some of the API docs, and then was going to expand on it. But then Amka pretty much did more than I did, and I like this Astro thing. It seems
nice,
clean. Yeah.
And
so I just redirected the URL to this basically.
Wicked. Yeah, I like it. That's really cool. It's super comprehensive as well. I think, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff there. I think one maybe thing of breaking them up into like the different types of users that we have might be useful.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, I think that's fine as it is.
No, totally. I was also noticing, just based on people's questions, and like everyone's kind of in their own flow right now, making a few onboarding kind of paths, like, hey, does this describe you more? You're an artist that wants to just get started, or you're a dev that wants to make some hype apps, or you're this, follow this path kind of onboarding, and then team up with people and maybe start doing some little workshops. Like somebody wanted a rigging workshop for VRMs and stuff like that, and then have all those kind of in here too, so you can kind of have some video guides or little screen shares, and just make it as comprehensive as possible. So anyone that wants to contribute, let's make this a powerhouse doctrine for. You can put me in the overwhelmed and lost category. Yeah. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Fire.
No problem. It definitely helped me get a better handle on V2, like rereading the docs 20 times as I'm putting it in. It was like, okay, now I get exactly how everything works.
I think MetaMike wants to speak, and Emotion.
Yeah, just invited both. Very cool.
Yo.
Hey.
Yo.
What's good news?
Chilling.
Wait, sorry. I was like doing other things. What am I supposed to ask you a question?
No, you raised your hand, so I thought.
Yeah, I think you wanted to talk about like perspective
Yeah.
from design, maybe, or something. I don't know.
So yeah, it's really just. I think I'm just done and might need to sit down with someone to like launch, like a hosting thing with a domain, with version 2, and that I could update when there's like new additions, version 2.
I'll show you. Or does HP and them don't have it to where you can set your domain yet, right?
The hyperhost
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at that too.
No, I'm pretty sure you could. Like, I have tried the self-hosting method that PZ documented once, and I am too stupid. But I did fly.io, and it was up in like 5 minutes. So I'll send you that.
Okay, bet. To see Howie. Thank you too. Also, Howie. Shout out Howie.
Yeah, does Fly.io work well? Like, what about store? I don't know how the storage and stuff works. Like, you need a volume for that.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. There's like different pricing for different whatever. So
Janko said not yet soon, so I'm assuming that they might add it.
Yeah, they will.
Because it's probably a better option, just so you don't have to worry about managing that stuff yourself.
Yeah, the thing with Fly.io is like you just basically have the directory open in your CLI or whatever, and then there's a few commands, and then it's basically up and running, and you can like update it. And I don't know. I think that there is a group of people who like that, regardless of other services that are out, because you can just like have a super custom branch and just keep updating it like at your own discretion.
Yeah, I think once you have one set up, you honestly it's kind of hands off after that. Like, we ran a couple of worlds that are just running on DigitalOcean, and it was like you need to be a kind of a dev to kind of set it up. But after that, I've just got like one command that I need to use rsync to make backups that just pull backups from a server, put it in a folder on my computer. And then another like one command to update it to the latest. Like, it's pretty basic. I think the problems you'll run into is like, if you want automated backups, if you want like, you just don't even know how to get started with that stuff, or you just want like more control over it, then I don't know. But yeah, Hyperworld's probably just like the easiest for sure.
Mike, do you want to say what you're working on?
Yeah, I'll have a quick chat. I'm about to run out of battery on my phone, but yeah, I been doing some, honestly, like more traditional AI, like game AI attempts at implementations for Hyperfy. PZ put me on goal-oriented action planning. Did a bit of research into that. Honestly, just been listening to GDC talks about like all these different AI methods, be it FSMs or behavior trees or utility AI. And I had kind of built out that demo that I shared on X yesterday as a combination of like behavior trees and like basically a hodgepodge of a bunch of different mechanisms and state machines, and I don't think it's really going to be scalable, but I'm super interested in it because like the combination of the AI Web3 and agent space has always been something that I've been into, so I'm trying to refactor that to be a bit more focused around like a proper replication of like Sims 1 and Sims 2, where you basically have motives for each of the agents in world, and you have smart objects that deliver different signals, basically where the agents and the objects are basically pinging each other back and forth, with the objects letting
the agents know what they can do for them, and the agents letting the objects know what they're in need of. And I'm trying to just get it into a place where I have a lot more of a basic setup, but the ability to scale it in the way that will give it some true depth. And yeah, it's super interesting because at the moment it's just like standard non-LLM anything, and just basically programming the actions and interactions between agents and objects. But once you get to involve the LLMs for decision making and goal structuring and this, that, and the other, I think it'd be pretty neat to see how complex it can get without actually needing to program any of that complexity in. And there's I know we've been utilizing Eliza a lot, but something worthwhile checking out is Daydreams. I started playing with it last night just because I've heard from a lot of people working in the swarm tech space that this is like exactly what something like Hyperfy could use for multi-agent simulations. And I kind of got a peek under the hood to see what like the output looks like based on their examples and how it could be restructured for Hyperfy specifically. It's super interesting. There's a lot of questions that I have about it, but hoping that I can kind of work with a couple of people to put together an implementation for Hyperfy. But yeah, that's it.
That's cool. So the Daydreams guys reached out to me a couple of times and were like, how do you feel about like this and Hyperfy paired together? And I had a look over it, and like I'm not gonna lie, it like kind of just went straight over my head because there's a few things there AI related where I'm like, what does this mean? So it's kind of cool to hear that you're like you seem to like understand it and get it, so and can see like what we can do, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like there's if you have a look at the source code, the way that you can kind of easily implement it is basically by putting together a structure for the world that you are creating in Hyperfy. So like they have a game called Eternum, and they've basically got just a huge system prompt that tells them everything about Eternum and how it works. But like the actual goal planning mechanism and how that gets implemented is all based off that system prompt. So if you just adjust that system prompt to the environment that your Hyperfy world is in, well, how it kind of is structured, I think you'd be able to get some pretty interesting simulations where you could use data that's being passed from their API and kind of ingest that and take actions in world accordingly. So yeah, worth looking into for sure.
I don't know how I could help, but I feel like the one thing that could help with this is getting the capsule controllers in so that you're not locked to just the horizontal 0 axes. Just so they can walk around a little bit more freely. But Sims in Hyperfy sounds like it's confirmed. AI Sims in Hyperfy.
Well, I've gone from using like a 200-line script, now it's like 1,600, and it's getting way too complex. So I got to figure out how to manage that. Because that's what happens when you don't know how to write anything yourself.
Can any of that be offloaded to a server of some kind, or does it all need to be running all at once?
I think it can, and I think there's probably a way that you could distribute it across multiple apps. Where it's not just like agent and smart object, there's intermediaries that handle some of the different state management. But yeah, kind of dug into that for a long time last night and got absolutely nowhere. So I just need to take a break and let the brain reconfigure how to best approach it.
Yeah, for sure. That's
exciting. But if anyone's interested, feel free to ping me because, like, yeah, it's pretty like the utility AI framework is pretty broadly used, and if you have any interest in that type of thing, could definitely use the help in implementing some of it.
This stuff interests me personally, but I don't think I have enough bandwidth to understand it. And every time I have a conversation with you, you talk about like, you bring out like 3 new acronyms I've never heard of and link to like 4 different, I guess, algorithms for AI and like LLM stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of just keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's never ending. And I don't think it'll slow down anytime soon, unfortunately.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I'm going to have to bounce, but great chatting, guys.
Thanks for sharing.
No worries.
All right, I think we're coming up to have we been talking for an hour and a half?
Yeah, I'm out too.
That's crazy. All right, let's finish up. Sorry if anyone else wanted to chat, but yeah, it's been like an hour and a half. Cool.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.